welcome back everyone. We're going to be here today and we're going to be reviewing the very first visual novel that I have finished on my channel, that of course being Symphonic Rain. So this is my first visual novel review. I've done a review of a few games before, but visual novels are a whole nother battle. So we're going to go ahead and just devote this up into a few categories, which are going to be the story, the music, the artwork, and then some of the intangibles and the miscellany. First off, I want to go ahead and note that this game was kind of just recommended to me, I guess. I didn't really go ahead and do a lot of soul searching to find it. A buddy of mine just kind of texted me one day off the blue and was like, hey, you like music, you like key style stories, I think you'd really enjoy this game. So I went ahead and I bought it, and let me tell you, he was very much right. I would argue, just first off, that this is one of the best visual novels that I've definitely ever read, and Symphonic Rain as it stands is firmly placed in the top 5. So let me go ahead and begin with the story here. The story follows a young Chris Verton, who is a Fortelli. It's kind of like a piano student at a place which is set in Italy. You could tell from the language of the calendar and blah blah, whatever else, climate, region. And he is looking for a recital partner to go ahead and graduate with. You need to have a vocal partner when you're a Fortelli player and vice versa. So the game will go ahead and base off of the routes. It's who you choose at the very end to help you in your recital. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You're spent very much going and talking about the character development, the interactions between the two, and learning just how much about the characters, why they are who they are, why they do what they do, and their reasons for existence, really. It's very well written. So the story in that regard is really one of the best that I've read, and I really have to give it at least a 9 out of 10. It's very emotional. I don't want to go ahead and spoil anything, as this is a spoiler-free review, but it's very emotional. It will sit with you for a long time, and even though I've already read this, I finished this, it's been probably about a month now, I still think about Symphonic Rain at least once or twice a day, and I really think about how much the story has definitely impacted me. The most important thing, though, about this game is definitely the music, which is a definite 10 out of 10. The music in this is fantastic, and it is the real driving component behind the game, as it is a rhythm game. They have some rhythm game elements to it, as whenever you whenever you go down a character route, you do 2 songs, which is their song that they sing for you to the recital, and then the ending song. Every single song in this is masterfully composed by Ritsuko Okazaki, who is really, this game is her namesake, as she unfortunately passed away, I think only about a few weeks after this game had come out. And her work, this is truly her life's sake, as this work is fantastic. A lot of the songs will stick with you, whether it's the instrumental, whether it's the vocal, and this music definitely goes ahead and it really has such an impact on the characters, the character development, and the lyrics themselves will go ahead and give you an insight of how the character feels about certain situations. Every single song in this game is masterfully composed, and I can't say that enough. There's not a time when music in the background does not fit the scene that's currently going on, and it really adds to the overall story. The third category in this is the art, which is very simplistic. There's a little bit of a caveat with Symphonic Rain, and that is, maybe as you can tell from judging from the title, it never stops raining in Piova, the city of the game's location. You may go ahead and see things because the art is so simplistic. You may go ahead and laugh at certain situations in the story. You may go ahead and laugh at some of the characters' interactions, or maybe you'll go ahead and feel emotional for the characters, or maybe you'll feel like this is an uplifting and optimistic tale about the future. But at the end of the day, the art never ever, especially with its very light tones and simplistic colors scheme, it will never ever let you not realize that it is constantly raining in the background of Piova, in the magic city of rain. It is never not raining. And the art does a fantastic job at that, whether it's tied in with the soundtrack, where even if Chris is sitting in his bed and he's maybe, reading a letter from Aerie, who is a very central portion of the game, central part of the theme, you'll hear rain tapping on the window. If he looks over at the background in the art, you'll go ahead and you'll see rain hitting the window, and etc. And it really applies to the ambience of a story. And I honestly have not felt that involved, or almost like a parasocial interaction with a character in a story like that in quite some time. It's really a special feel. And this game, if I could say that, even though it's from 2004 and they kind of uptoned a little bit of the graphics, they went and remastered a lot of stuff in the Steam version, which is definitely the most concise English translation. The ambience is just incredible, you guys. And I know that goes into the art, because the art has such a big deal to do with it as well, considering it is a visual novel, so you're going to be staring at what is hand-drawn artwork for, 99, 100% of the time. And the artist did a fantastic job with its simple, like I said, simple muted colors, and the tone is just perfect. Our last category with that is the intangibles and just different little miscellaneous stuff like that. Well, I really, really enjoyed the ambience. The only real downside I have to this game, you guys, is the voice acting. The characters definitely, when they need to get emotional, are they definitely relay that emotion. But it's definitely a little like you could hear almost like a robot. Like the mics weren't professional. This wasn't like they went into a sound studio. This is definitely have the 2004 voice acting quality. And it may take away a little bit from it because it may sound a little robotic at certain times, but I can't really fault the team for their production budget and their value that they had, because they really did the best with all they could. And like I said, I can't really fault it for that. The voice acting was really my only complaint, and seriously, you guys, it is such a fantastic experience. It's such a fantastic ride, and I really, really recommend Symphonic Raid to everyone. It's a story about romance, love, even a little bit of mystery of trying to figure out why it rains so much in the city of Piova, or why characters do the things that they do. And there are so many times throughout the game that you'll be sitting there and you'll learn something about a character or something that you may have picked up on through a song or a lyric or something like that. And when it really goes into fruition, you realize that the opening lyrics of the game had such an impact of foreshadowing on every single character, and it is the way that they do. This game is definitely very emotional, especially towards the final two chapters, which are Alfine and the Symphonic Rain route, the grand finale. And if you are a very emotional person, definitely grab a tissue at hand. I'm not a very emotional person, but I definitely will admit I almost cried a few times. Quite a few, actually. So this game is definitely up there in having such an emotional impact on the character, or on the player themselves. So, with all that being said, this is a fantastic ride that, even though it is very, very underground, a lot of people haven't heard about it. The production value may not have been the highest because of the budget, and you'll definitely get that quite a bit with some of the issues in voice acting, or maybe some of the backgrounds don't look as good or fleshed out as the other ones. They did the best that they absolutely could. And as a result of which, I'm giving Symphonic Rain the rating of a 9.3 out of 10. This story is one of the very few VNs that I've played, similar in the lines of Little Busters, that the more I think about it, the better it gets. With most VNs, with most video games, you finish it, you think about it, and you're like, okay, that kind of sucked. Like, in retrospect, it wasn't that good. The more I think about Symphonic Rain, you guys, the more I tend to enjoy it. With that, it is a rating of a 9.3, which is in my masterpiece category. If they go ahead and they fix some of the voice acting issues or some of the story stuff that seems to be like a little like, this doesn't really matter, it's easily a 10 for me. And that 9.3 rating is definitely one of the highest I've ever given to a VN. This is a game that I cannot recommend enough to all of you guys, especially who are interested in music, who are interested in emotional storytelling, and very interested in ambience and stuff that you'll see with like the muted colors, kind of like a more Nakige type, but without a Nakige. So with that, Symphonic Rain is its 9.3 out of 10. I hope all of you guys have enjoyed. I know that this game will definitely, it's not the most popular VN, but it is very, very well worth. It goes on sale for like $15. I cannot recommend this game enough to all of you guys, and I hope that all of you guys can get around to going and playing this absolute masterpiece. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Comment if you have any questions. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you all soon.